Tonight, an extended one-on-one interview with Oklahoma Congressman Tom Cole. Our Evan Onstott sat down with the congressman this week in our studio where they discussed America's surging inflation and who's to blame.
It is an expensive time to live in America, isn't it?
That is for sure. Unfortunately, you have to be my age to remember the last time anything like this happened. Fastest inflation rate in 40 years, highest consumer price index increase literally on record. So we are in a time that we're making it harder each and every day for the average Oklahoman, the average American to just pay the bills and have a good future for themselves and their family.
A lot of blame from Republicans has gone right at the president. You guys have really put a lot of this inflation on him. Make the case, because obviously there's a lot of factors and a lot of things going on in the world right now, coming out of COVID. Now there's a lot of conflict on the other side of the globe. Why is it the president's fault, a lot of this, for the inflation and
well,
the
let's just start with some of the policies from day one. When you end the Keystone Pipeline, when you make it harder to drill and explore on federal land, which is 20% of the land mass of the United States, and offshore, where we get over a quarter of our petroleum, then you're the one that set off the spike in fuel prices. And then when you pass something called the American Rescue Plan, it was the last quote-unquote COVID relief bill, $1.9 trillion. Republicans warned then, but it wasn't just Republicans that warned about inflation. Former Secretary of the Treasury Larry Summers, who was Secretary of the Treasury under President Clinton, world-class economist, former president of Harvard, he warned. He said, if you do this, you're going to set off inflation. There are a lot of Democratic economists who made the same point. So I think the president owns this one, quite frankly. Now, I will acknowledge that certainly, what was already bad was made worse by what President Putin did in Ukraine, but let's not forget this was well underway for months and months before the Russians ever crossed into Ukraine. So this is a policy disaster that I think the president set in motion from day one, and now unfortunately the American people are reaping the sad consequences of that. If you remember, when he was running for president, he actually declared war on the fossil fuel industry. Now they're begging them, please produce more, please do more. I guess we didn't really mean it, but that's a bad signal to send to an industry. We were pre-COVID doing over 13 million barrels a day of production in the United States. We're about 11 and a half today. We know we can get back 1.5 million of this pretty rapidly if we had just, again, sent the industry the right signals instead of telling them we hate you and, by the way, we don't want anybody to invest in you.
We're seeing oil companies saying in their statements, as well as when they talk to us, that, listen, we need to prioritize. We lost so much money and manpower, and our shareholders lost so much money during COVID, that we need to prioritize getting our books in order and also earning our shareholders more money rather than producing more oil, even though really they could, but they're choosing right now to be prudent and to be safe. So when it comes to the high gas prices, when it comes to maybe not as much oil being around, do you think that perhaps the president could be getting too much blame on that part? Considering
really
the oil companies could do more right now, but they are being cautious.
Look, the only time they've gotten a message to do more in the Biden administration has been literally within about the last month. So I think you have to own the consequences for your attitudes and your actions up to that point. And even now, it's about as easy for the oil companies to trust the administration as it would be for us to trust the Russians. Hey, your intentions and your actions have all been hostile. Now you're beginning to sing a different tune. And I think they're going to be slow to come back and invest. But I think it will happen over time. But, you also when we do really stupid things like release 180 million barrels from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, which this president has done, to quote unquote keep prices down, what that does is, again, tell the oil companies, well, don't overdo it because the prices aren't going to be where you think they might be, but the investments are going to be expensive. And again, the inflation.